Did somebody walk out? No? We're out here? Oh, we're out here? Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get started because it's 7. You can keep drawing if you want. Sorry the rain came down. I was already here. Didn't bother me none, but yeah, it happens. And so, alright, so my name is Dan the man, Daniel Flores. And I'm an artist. I draw, I paint, I sketch, I do tattoos, I mentor artists, organize events, produce art shows, I curate art. Let's see what else. I forget. Do a lot of art stuff. Yeah, I do tattoos. I also teach tattoos also. And so, so one of the things that I know I found effective in my life is to promote. But I've always been that kind of guy because I have a big ego, and so I like to brag, but I don't just talk about my art. I show it, and so that's always been my way to brag and promote myself and talk about myself. And so so now I like to share some of those methods and things that I know work for me and for other artists, and it's worked for other artists before me. And I always take advice from other artists. I'm always open to listening to other artists who are doing better and bigger things than myself, just because I want to be there. I want to make money off my art. If you don't want to make money off of your art, that's okay. You can still hang out with us. But I like to say that if you, as an artist, if you're not making money with your art, then somebody else will. So let's all share, let's all produce, let's all work together and get to a point where we are making money with our own art. So right now I want to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about what you're working on, what's your art field, and what you're looking to get out of, what questions you may have, so that way we can touch on those things specifically today. All right, so let's start on this side.
My name is Flores Dave, artist, illustrator, tool creator, and I'm a big deal around here. That's it.
Okay, so what is your medium? What are you working on?
Well, my current medium, and what I discovered this for myself maybe about a year and a half ago, is acrylic paint, and on top of that, I like to use dry pastels. To do all my examples. So I'm really feeling that technique, and I think that's what I'm going to stick with here.
All right.
Billy, graphic designer, illustrator, and novice. Try to get out of the reading to find better ways to put the name out there and get the product out there properly.
Let me go back. So do you have a website?
Yes, it's on Tumblr. It's daily238.tumblr.com.
Yeah.
On there from graphic design work, illustration and animation on there. My email is daily238@gmail.com.
Flavor Dave, do you have a website?
FlavorDave.biz.
Okay. All right, Sam.
Hi, my name is Sam Evans. It's my first time here. I am a data diva and a webmaster by day, and I'm also in charge of creating visual assets for the school I work at, working on all their print and digital assets. So we all commercial work there. Photography business on the side, I do portraiture, environmental, and documentary photography. But I really enjoy fine art photography as a bit, and so I'm now working with photography in a transfer print media that I enjoy transferring with a special set of chemistry some print makers have put together onto glass, metal, wood, all sorts of transfer processes so that the photograph is not just printed directly on canvas, or if you want to do a company that does that kind of mass production thing, that each piece is unique and really be recreated. So I'm looking for a little way to build a better portfolio, to present that together as a body of work, and then to put a little bit of marketing into it to figure out how to get it out front.
Okay. What is your website?
TSIphotos.com.
Sekuzu?
Oh, yes. This is for the first time my arrival, and I'm not a designer.
Artist?
Editor, and I'm working for an architecture design firm, which is located in the Midtown Atlanta. But I'm doing a kind of volunteer work for AIA, Atlanta Flores. AIA is American Institute of Architects, and the Atlanta chapter has a kind of a tour committee. They kind of organize the kind of architecture tour, and then leading the kind of attendees to kind of new, recently constructed building. And then I'm working for the kind of a graphic chair, and I used to be a graphic chair, and now I'm still a photographer. So some photographs are kind of sometimes kind of used on the annual book published by the AIA Atlanta chapter. But basically, I like for example, the pictures I take is this kind. It's probably you cannot see it very clearly, but sometimes I take the picture something like this. And used to be very interested in drawing the architecture or any the street view by my hand, drawing with watercolors. But recently, all the renderings related to the designs, architectural designs, are more computerized. So I have been I felt just lost, how to use my kind of drawing talent or interest towards what kind of medium. So I came over here to find out the possibility to make my kind of drawing talent or that kind of things kind of, used for something. And also, I don't have any website established. So today I heard that from the 7 o'clock, the latter half of today's meetup is going to be the lecture of kind of designing the website for showing, exhibiting the artworks. So I'm very interested in that kind of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, I'm Ariel. I'm interested in mostly fashion illustration. I want to go to school for it, and right now I'm just trying to figure out how to build my online presence in a way that is professional.
Do you have a website now?
I do. It is temptedartist.wordpress.com. It's more long.
You said tempted artist that
WordPress.
Okay, my name is Tamika. I am here for the first time for the Blackbook conversation for my first meeting, and I want to get a website together. So I'm here to learn more about that. My background, as far as what I work in for my day job, is in engineering. But eventually I want to transition out of that over time and do what I really am passionate about, which is my artwork. Mostly what I'm focusing now on is trying to get a portfolio together for a children's book illustration. So that's what we want to do for the website.
Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Theron Jones, and I'm a web designer and web developer, so not too much into the whole art thing, but still just wanted to come in and be around other creative people. So what I want to get from the meetup is just to figure out kind of like what people look for, in an online portfolio? I know they kind of want to see your work, but I want to see like what's the best practices, that kind of thing. What I really should put up there in terms of web design and web development. So just something along those lines.
I'm Erica. So my background is I do fashion design. I make clothes, crochet, and sewing. I draw. That was my first love, is drawing with pen and ink, pencils, charcoal, that kind of thing. And then recently got into painting, so I now paint. And those are some of the things I'm looking to do. I've done some tattoo design for some of my friends, so it's another area that I'm looking to get into. So I do have 3 blogs. One for my, I also write. One for my literature, one for my artwork, and then one for my garments and fashion design. And I'm on Facebook. So.
All right. Very cool. Thank you.
All right. Last but not least, Justin Anderson, known also as Artist 53, artist, illustrator, fine artist. Website is artist53.com. My background is illustration, traditional illustration. I also do digital illustration as well. And I also work with graphic design, logo design as specialty. What I really want to do with my career is basically get more in-depth into children's books. I've already put out 2 children's books, and I'd like to do more. But most definitely, the other hand of that would also be the fine art realm. I'm looking to, explore that with especially the LA TV, the business class that we're undergoing. In reference to that, it'll help with more of a business aspect with what I'm doing, and also the Black Book conversations help with that as well. So I'm just looking to get more of a better business sense in what I'm doing, and to help further my career along in all of those aspects that I touch on.
Very cool. All right. So some of us have a website, some of us do not. And I think the biggest question is, what do we need to do to attract clients, to sell art, to seem professional online, or what are the first steps in even considering some online options? I think that sums it up, doesn't it?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
The black book? Yes. Come on in. And so let's touch on those things. Platforms, presentation. So tell us. We just finished introducing ourselves, and so
Sorry, I'm late.
it's your turn now.
My name is Leanna Delgado, and I'm a fine artist. I do world painting mostly in the last few years. And I have a background in fashion graphic design years ago. I've left that field. I have a studio in Casperville, and I paint there the other part of the time I paint.
Okay.
Well, I stay in Casperville Hill 3 nights. Okay. I mean, even just getting here from Catherine Hill.
Oh, that's terrible. Getting anywhere to here.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have a website?
Pardon me?
Do you have a website?
No.
No. So, what are some questions that you have?
I'm interested in. I actually started to research some websites, like do-it-yourself websites, and I looked at iPage. I'm just trying to figure out who I should go with. I have an account, GoDaddy.com. I've had it for many years, and I have a domain name and all that.
Thank you.
But their website to me seems really cumbersome to build a website. They only need 5 pages. So that's where I'm at now. I'm just back to researching that, and I would like an online portfolio.
Of course.
For galleries, competitions. I'm actually going to go back to school and get my master's in fine art.
Oh.
Have that.
All right. Cool. So I think it fits also what we just mentioned. Platform ideas. We're looking to see what platforms work for artists. What type of presentation do we need to have? What kind of options artists need to have on their website for whoever may be coming to buy, people who come in to look at your work, and how can you derive profit from the setup, from the presentation, and ultimately promote yourself? Because that's something else that we're going to have to touch on, is what do you do to promote yourself, and what methods are out there that work for you? All right, so let's start from the beginning. Some of us who have a website, there's WordPress, there's Tumblr, there's Blogspot, and then Sam, you went through a online setup, or did you go through a?
Photo provides WordPress advanced, like website, blog site,
Mm-hmm.
designed for photographers.
Okay.
So they have gallery platforms like Flash and other things that are just kind of preset for photography.
Sure. So is it cheap or?
I think I pay $85 for the template and support, and my domain and everything I purchased through my own web host that I have. I've got less than $300 a year into my client gallery site and my website.
So. Right. And okay, cool. And that doesn't sound too bad. It definitely, to have an online presence, you're going to spend money, and the first thing you're going to spend money on is your domain. And the reason why you want to spend money on your domain is because that's going to be the way to identify yourself online. That's going to point towards the website that you build, whether the website is free through Blogspot, Tumblr, or many other ways, or you pay for it through hosting and set up your own website. You still need a way to get to that website, and you usually want to use a word or series of words to identify you that market your brand ultimately. And so that doesn't sound too much. Now, what about us who don't have a budget, who don't have money? And that's some of the options that we need to consider. And Blogspot has always been my friend up until last year, when because I got like maybe a dozen websites through Blogspot that I created. I don't know how many Flavor Day has. I know you got a bunch. 5. That's all? Oh, that's not bad. And so last year, I had about at least 10 running websites on Blogspot. And what's great about Blogspot is that it's free. It's a Google product. And so once you have a Gmail account, you can set up as many blog spots as you want. It allows you to set up different pages for different things that you want to have on one single website. I think the max is 10 pages. And but I was going to do a talk last year. It was on web design, and then and the night before, I'm double checking my stuff, my materials, and my site was nowhere to be found. And so I contacted Google, and I went through the FAQs, and they said that there's some situations when they'll lock you out because you did something wrong. And I couldn't imagine what I could have done. I did not know. I was trying to remember some of my sins, and it wasn't coming up. It was none of them had to do with Blogspot. And so I was not happy, and so I quickly set up a WordPress website. But that's because my wife, she's a WordPress expert. She knows code. She knows how to find scripts and put things together. And yes.
Sorry, I'm a Mac person.
You're a Mac person.
And you use WordPress?
Yes. It's based online. It's all online. And so I set up the graphics. She set up the database, and I had my website up that night. We get paid to do that, so we're good at it. But I did not want to do a WordPress website, and I want it. That's why. Otherwise, I would have had it already. I like the simplicity of Blogger. But after that situation, I started migrating my stuff out. Little by little, I set up new websites and set up new stuff because I did not want that situation. I can't sell websites. I can't sell my products, and then something not working with mine.
So I have a question. Is there any websites where everyone can see the options of the website, the list of the source of the website?
Is there a specific website for?
I don't know.
Is that your question?
Okay. Yeah, if here is a website I can see.
Their source code.
Yeah.
I think he's looking for a list. Is there a place where you can go and see the different blog platforms so he can compare?
Yes. So if you go to the meetup that has the info for today, I have a long list that I posted. Let's see if I can move it over. So here is a list on the meetup. So if you go to the meetup page, I'm not sure if you know about our meetup. It's called the Black Book Conversations. You go to meetup.com, type in the Black Book Conversations. I think it's this right here. You'll be able to see the page, the meetup for this group here. And I posted a bunch of names up there. I have a lot. And a lot of them are free. I think all of them are free. And but we're gonna get into the reason of why you want to go with some of those, and how much of a difference does that make between what you're trying to do. If you're an artist who's trying to sell artwork, or if you're an artist who's just trying to show off some art, if you're an artist who wants to be able to charge people through your website. Some of those do not help you do that, and some of those do, and they take a chunk. So it really comes down to what's going to want to work for you. Let's see. So through Blogspot, I set up my own. My wife and I, we run our own domain and hosting company. So we have plenty of host space for all our websites, and so I've eventually moved them on. But I still like Blogspot for the quick and easy stuff. You know, I really like it. You just don't, because it's free, and a lot of websites that you try out because they're free, there's no guarantees that your data is going to stay online forever. Another situation came out was Posterous. If you never heard of Posterous, they went down in the beginning of July or June, something like that. And they've been around for 3 or 4 years. And when they came out, I jumped on it, created a website, set up pages, I started posting my artwork on there. And then like early this year, they realized they weren't going to make any money, and so they said they was going to shut it down, and they did. You know, so those are some of the things that you have to deal with when it comes to free. There's nothing wrong with it. Using free is just you get what you pay for.
I just clarify that $250 for my $300 a year is for my client galleries for photos. That's not for like just the website.
Oh, I see. Okay.
About $50 a year for my domain name and my hosting.
Gotcha. And that's very good.
The other is for client galleries, which I'm a big storage space for high-res photos. I use this folio for that.
Definitely, I'll look at that.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
It is.
And you get to dump a bunch of pictures up there, and
Yeah, and I have vendors that you can deal with that'll produce your products on
that's very good.
decent quality
Mhm.
vendors at least.
Yeah, we set up websites for photographers like that, huh? Yeah. And so then it comes down. So then, what are your options? And so I think before you can decide on which platform works for you, which you can see online, there's a lot. And it starts with what type of artist are you and what do you want to do. And so like some of the sites that I do for artists, we stick to a few pages, and there's a reason for it. Number one is the front page is going to feature your art and talk about whether you're selling your art or you're just showing it off. There's no other in-betweens. There's nothing else that you, as an artist, care to do. Unless I'm wrong. Because I know I like to show off my artwork, and I have plenty of websites for that and plenty of blogs, but then I want to make money off of it. So there's always going to be the PayPal option there. There's always going to be the buy now option, just because I want to sell it. So your website is going to contain a gallery of your work, and within that gallery, you can actually set up to sell each one of those pieces, or it can just be the gallery becomes just a portfolio, a sample of the work that you have, with also a shopping area for the stuff that you want to sell. If you have two different types of art that you want to feature, some of it for sale, some of it for not. I have in my websites, most of them just have samples of my work, because I want to do new work. you know. So like Justin, he did Artist 53. He's done commission work. He's done work for children's book. He can't sell. I mean, I'm sure he's selling the book, but he can't sell the individual artwork pieces that are in his portfolio. So that's why. But so it's there just to show the quality of the work that can be done. And then there's another section for the actual artwork that he has for sale. So those are a couple of things you're going to have on your website. Another part of the website you're going to have is going to be things like about the artist. And maybe an artist statement. If you know what an artist statement is we learned it in our class. Is talk about yourself and what motivates you in your art. You know, where does that come from, and why you motivated to do this type of art? Because that may be that one thing that connects the person who's looking at your artwork and has some questions about it, and knowing your story may help them connect and say, yes, I want it. I like what's going on here. Identify what she's saying or what he's saying about his art or what he's doing, and so now I really want it. So that's another thing to have there. And the last thing I can think of is a contact page, you know, where potential clients can leave a message, send you an email, say, look, I'm interested in this type of art. I know you do it. This is the size I want. You know, how much? All along throughout your website, this type of website is designed to sell. If you want to just have that should be a website that you put together yourself. Now, it can be on any platform, and we can discuss the platforms. But on any platform that's out there that's free, there's a lot of them that are just there to set up and post art, like DeviantArt. I don't know who's on DeviantArt. 1, 2, that's it. Yeah, you can. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is. Yep. But when I started on DeviantArt, this is during the MySpace days, and I set up a bunch of artwork up there, and it was just to show off. It was just to get critiques from other artists and so on. I didn't see too many people lurking through DeviantArt to buy, and even now with the prints available, really the people who travel through DeviantArt are other artists. So they don't. If you can convince an artist to pay money for your art, then you're doing good. All right. So that's really not so much open to the public. It's more for other artists. So you have to look at the platform and what it's for. There was a platform called Pimp Artworks, and I in any platform that I find for artists, I dump art up there and I try to sell, or just set it up just so that I can have my space on it. And so what was cool about Pimp Artworks is that it was coming out of England. And so they were really trying to market artists for all over the world. I set up some art, I put some prices, and I never heard nothing much about it. Of course, I didn't promote it much because I already have other places where I promote my artwork, including my own personal website. So I was just trying to see what that platform was going to do. Let me see. Society 6 is another good one, especially if your art if you already digitized it. It doesn't work if you're doing knitting stuff, because they're going to reproduce the artwork, and they're not going to reproduce the knitted products. But when it comes to art or any kind of digital photography, etc., you upload it. You can actually create skins for laptops and iPads and all this other stuff, and just dump it up there, put some price on it, and then tell the world to come through. What's cool about websites like Society 6 is that I think Redbubble is one of those also. Is that you can they handle the producing of that artwork that is sold, the transaction when it sells, and they ship it. And the only thing you're concerned with is your cut. And the cut that cut you get is what you set up when you first set up the artwork. So you're pricing your artwork how you want it, and you're gonna get the percentage of it that you want once it sells. And so those are kind of where when you set up into those type of sites, you don't have the option of just having a gallery and talking about yourself and all this other stuff. Some of those websites have room for you to have information about the artist, but not as extensive as what you would do on your own personal site. So there's some options to weigh right there.
Although you have explained about there are some websites already, but could you kind of sum up some the criteria to narrow down those so many options?
Mm-hmm.
What's the good point or strong strength?
Right.
Yeah. For you and for other people who have already established their own, website, what was the strong points?
Right. Well, I got you. Because I like to jump on any platform that's out there. I don't care. As long as it's free to get an account, I do it. And that's because that's the part of my promotion of myself and my branding. I'm the creative genius. And so I use that in any platform that I find. And I'm going to be the one to grab the creative genius. Not that anybody's looking out to get that, I don't think. But I'm going to be the only one. But the ones that I really invest a lot of time, the platform I really invest time and try to build is like Society 6. Only because I've seen other artists that are much better than me thrive, and I've actually sold on Society 6. I like...
Press? You guys use Press yet?
No.
They're offering a better price margin.
Oh, you're there? Yeah.
Feature new artists like each week.
Okay.
I like this stuff.
And how do you spell that?
Cress, KRESS.com.
KRESS.com. Cool. I'm gonna check it out. And that's what you're looking for. Stuff that's gonna not start off as expensive. That's one thing to keep in mind. I've been with Cafe Press. Been with Zazzle, ZAZZLE.com. I don't think I put them up there. And that's like and so with those kind of websites, not only can you sell prints of your work, you can actually slap it on something like a cup, a T-shirt, an apron, etc. But if you're going to invest on which one is it your time and which one works for you, I think it's best to just compare. Shop as a shopper, like compare the base price for something. So if it's a laptop skin, what does this website charges in comparison to the other website, so that way you go with the one that's going to have the quality but also the right price point, because people don't want to spend $30, $40 on something they can get $10 at the store. And I learned that with skateboards. In order for me to make a profit off of my skateboards, I had to charge $60. But all skateboards on the store start at $35 and don't go. And if you're spending $50, it's because the brand that everybody recognizes that the kids want. So I was gonna have a hard time trying to convince people to pay my prices online, plus shipping, and you get it in 2 weeks. And when you can actually walk into the store and get something that's just as nice, and that people are gonna actually use, and they're used to a certain price point.
One thing that he's talking about is cool about Society 6 is that they'll offer these promotions for your store that you set up. So the promotion will be free shipping, so that you can promote that on whatever your platform or your website may be, and customers just pay the flat rate that would be charged for that shirt or that item that you want, and you get the shipping for free.
Has anyone here used
If I have enough product, or I have product enough in the shop that that could be enough to do, because I don't want to do on demand. I'm only used to when I've got something already in stock and everything, unless there's a second art show or a trade fair kind of thing. It's okay, but it's gotten really, it takes a lot to get visible unless you do a lot of tagging in there for you. But if you get your surface built up enough on it, then you get some visibility that way. But then it's up to you to market. Hey, I'm offering a special on and stuff.
Well, I'm interested in finding particular trades to market to, like hospitals, hotels, banks, whatever. They're one of the galleries where they go to these big trade shows. I don't have money for that. I don't have time. I'd love to be able to get to the person, somehow. But that's the thing, is finding contact.
Yeah, finding your customers. Yeah.
But if you're doing that, then find out where those people are writing online, where those industry trades are writing online, and follow them and see if you can't get them in your blog and doing some backlinks. kind of thing, so that at least they're aware of you and they might put you to see your work. And get in front of them.
And that runs into the promotion part of yourself. And we have to do a lot, you know. I think one thing we agree on is that as an artist, your medium is visual. The internet is visual. So you have to be on the internet. There's no doubt about it, right? Nobody is here saying is, why do I need an even website or an online presence? I think we all agree that it's necessary. And I think it's necessary to the point that you're going to want to, like you say, you want to reach out to those people who are actually wanting to buy the type of art that you have to offer. And you may not meet them in everyday regular life, you know, in the circles that you run in. So you definitely have to have an online presence. Whether can you do it, you know, on a very inexpensive way by using the online platforms that are available, then do that. But if you can invest on your website, if you can set up your own website, if you can do it yourself, great. But it's nothing wrong with paying somebody else to do it who can knock it out and do it right. That way, that'll be one less thing you have to worry about. But then you can actually focus on the business side of it, on what it is that you need to do next. And so being online is one of the things that you're gonna just have to get into and do it, whichever which way you can, whichever which way works for you. Because I like to say that your website sells for you while you're sleeping. There's people all over the world who can connect online and they can find your artwork. Now, how do they find your artwork? That's going to be something to discuss also. So as far as options, I think it's best if you look through the websites to see which one works for you to post your artwork. There's also going to be websites and platforms that are geared towards certain type of art. You know, so Etsy is really more on the handcrafted stuff. You know, so if you have that type of artwork or designs, then that's where you want to be. My mother has an Etsy. She knits. Okay. And so if that works for you, then that's great. Now, one thing you cannot count on is the platform to do the selling for you, because you're not the only one there. You know, if the platform's done well for themselves, they got millions of people setting up their galleries, their online stores, and trying to sell their work. So what it comes down to, come on in, Jay. What it comes down to is, what are you doing to promote your store? You know, and who are you telling about it? You can walk around and tell your friends and family, go to my Etsy store and buy my stuff, but then they could also talk to you and buy it from you. Come to your house and buy it from you. So that's not your market. Your market is all those people that you cultivated friendships with on Facebook, on Twitter, and all these other social medias. Not just them, but the people that they may know. Because once you get to all these people who you're connected with, to know that you exist and that you have these services or these products, they may come across somebody who's looking for that specific thing at a certain time, and you have bothered and annoyed your friends with your promotions, with your links, with your pictures of your work, to the point that they know that you're the person that they need to talk to, and that's how connections are made. And there'll be people who you come across who you created friendships online who are not in your hometown. They're not in the United States, and that you've looked for in groups either on Facebook or on blogs that discuss the type of industry that you're in. So if there are knitting groups across the world and they speak English, then you should be in those groups, whether they're on Facebook or on on Blogger or any other platform. You should join the forums and get into the discussions of what they're doing. If they're talking about, I know I worked on an app for a hotel chain, iPad app, and so he has the person I worked with who owns it, he is into the hotel associations and these conventions that the hotel people get into and do, and they have their own trade magazine. But I'm sure that for me to advertise my type of art, it's not even for hotels, but to say if it was on the magazine, it might be out of my budget. But I know that they have an online presence. I know that they have a blog. And if I just start coming in and commenting on what I read on their blogs, then they're going to start noticing me. And some of the people who are reading these blogs, I know that I like to read a lot of tech blogs. When I read the blog itself, the blog post, at the end there's a bunch of comments, and I read those too. And if they're smart enough comments, then I may even click the link to the person who left that comment, see what they're about. So if you do that well enough and smart enough into those company blogs or industry blogs, and you leave the right type of comments that's related to the blog itself, you're not trying to sell. Don't be the person that comes in and talks about something totally unrelated. Then you might get people to click through and see the type of work that you have, and that's another form of connecting with people who you would not normally come across naturally. And that's how you do that type of promotion for yourself. I think that's what Sam was trying to say.
Find the market you want to be in and find out where they are online. Start participating with them.
Mm-hmm.
With tendencies to like the topic online. If you want to be in hotels, that have a smaller market where they provide marketplace.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Am I skipping over something? Am I not mentioning something specific you're thinking about? Does that help, Kusu? Is it helping a little bit? Okay. All right. So what I posted was just some of the small sample of the sites that I know I'm in, and I keep a document with all my passwords because I have a lot of them. I have a lot of accounts at a lot of different places, and I'm in the 300 line right now. So that's how many accounts I have. I'll spread all the way to the internet. And I have the time to do that because I'm a full-time artist. I know not everybody has that time, but you got to start investing some of your time into that. You set up your schedule to do some of the time with your artwork and some time with promoting, or even finding some people who can actually do that for you, if you can pay them. I know that if I had the money, I wouldn't be doing it myself. But I need to make my money. Go ahead.
I have a question. Because I haven't created any website for myself, so I don't know what's going on at the very beginning of creating the website. Do I need to have any specific software to create a website, or if I go to the website and list it whatever, can I do everything what I want to do?
That you could do something in any of those sites. It may not be everything that you want. It may not be everything that we mentioned earlier, like a gallery, a portfolio, information about yourself, a contact form, etc. But most of those websites have some kind of version that works for you. The reason you want to check out those websites is because most of them are free. And so that's what you want to start with. Unless you have the money, then let's talk to a web designer to set up your own website that's going to actually have the things that you really want for yourself. Flavor Day does websites. Justin does websites. I do websites. Darren, he does websites. Who else here does websites? Oh, you stop. You quit. You put your hands up. I quit. Yeah. Yes, sure. Right. Yeah. So now one of the things that we've done is Justin and I is agreed to work with artists. I haven't talked to Flavor Day about it. Sometimes he's missing. He's in the reserves, Army reserves. So sometimes when you really want to hang out, he can't. So we ain't talked to you about it much. But we still thank him for his service. But what we agreed is to help artists on setting up their website, but us doing it for them. Of course, we charge. But I'm not trying to sell you on that today. I just want to mention it because what we do is we've done it so much, and we're doing it for ourselves, that we have a way to just knock it out within 1 week and ask you for the specific things that we need you to give us to present your talent and your business, art business, to the world. You know, so today we're just going to share the ideas that we have, but do know that that's one of our missions and goals, is to make sure that an artist is always represented properly.
Does everyone in here have like a PayPal account?
And I'm afraid to get on that because I don't know. Do you have like 2 bank accounts for that? Because I read the fine print on that.
No, just like that.
Yeah, and what's in the fine print that scares you?
I don't like the idea that if you have someone, let's say, buy a work of art and it costs $1,000, and you mail it, they get it, you get your $1,000, and then all of a sudden, or I think I read something that if they don't like it, and then the bank somehow holds on to the money for a while.
Go ahead, Flavor Day.
You know,
Well, to address
the
that,
customer like really likes it, and if they, I mean, you can get kind of screwed. You can get screwed.
to address that, PayPal will hold your money for 7 days, but it has nothing to do with the customer not.
Yeah, but what if you get a customer that, you know,
But hold on.
is playing around with you?
As the artist, you set the terms. If you purchase this, I mean, you can let them know, hey, if you don't like it, you return it, but, you know, you set the terms as the artist.
And that's the thing.
You know, what if I spent 40 hours on a painting and I want $4,000 for it, and this person likes it, and they you know, they want to see it. They live in California, and I send it to them, and then it comes back damaged, or I never get it back. I don't get my money. You know, I mean.
Okay, so we're gonna address that further. All right. So hold on to that thought. I know what you're trying to say, Flavor Day. Go ahead, Jay.
On a print, I don't care.
No, I'm gonna tell you what you need to think about.
From my experience, PayPal is very secure. It's a very careful website. I've had my account for years, and I have not had a problem.
Right. All right. So there's 2 issues here.
But are we talking high dollar, or are we selling up for thousands, like let's say a painting for $3,000, or is it just for $10? I mean, $10 on there, but it's something that
It could be from 0 to 10 grand. It really depends on how efficient your firewall is in your computer.
Well, all right. So you're touching on the issue of whether it's safe and secure, and it is. And it become that way. If you're online and doing business online and you don't have a PayPal, you're cutting yourself short. If you're doing business in person to person and you don't have PayPal, you're cutting yourself short. And so that's just right. And so that's something that you just have to think about, whether or not you want to expand your business. Because one of the things you don't want to do is have a credit card machine in hand, and run people's card, and because now you're paying for the machine, you're paying for the service in the machine, and the transactions. And PayPal's come in and knocked all that stuff out the way. And they give you that, yes, right, and they send you a card reader. I have a Square card reader also, and I trade credit cards in person. All right, but that's just so it's necessary nowadays to conduct business. That's all. Now, whether you like the terms or not, and I think this is where Flavor Day was going with it, is once you set up your website, all right, and you're selling things online on your site, you can set the terms of what people are going to expect when they pay for something. All right, so if you're selling a $4,000 painting and you're adding the shipping, $300 shipping and packaging and all that stuff, because you got to protect it and all that, you can set the terms and write it out on the website. And when a person says that they're paying you for it, you can add in an extra click on there and say, by clicking here, you agree to these terms. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And if you return it because you don't like it and it comes back damaged, you only get a certain much percentage of your money back. And if there's a discrepancy, we're going to have to do this and that and the other. Those are terms of service. And you have to think about what works for you.
And then what if you get somebody that, buys your work, and then maybe they want to use it for marketing?
But then, and then that's why, now that's a conversation we weren't ready to talk about today, but that is necessary.
They can go on, they can try to just sell prints of your work or whatever. You put it backwards and do the source
Yeah, you put that in your terms, and if you find that they do that, then you have a legal case.
That's right. See, that's right. So you sell some artwork, and that's a contract. When you sell an artwork, you will sell any piece of artwork, you need to set up a contract where you're giving them the legal right to own this piece, but not the legal right to reproduce it. And that needs to be in your contracts.
And send them a physical copy of that along with your COA
Mm-hmm.
in the ship. So,
that's right.
They're reminded.
That's right.
Point of purchase.
And that all of that can be added to that text where they make the payment, where they're ready to buy, and you're ready to let that transaction go through with their card. It says you agree to these terms. Click here to read the rest. You have to protect yourself as an artist in all kinds of ways, but only you can do that.
Right.
Nobody can protect you for it.
My other question is, what about watermarking? Are many of these websites offer watermarking?
We'll talk about that in a second.
Photoshop?
Yeah, hold on one second. Is it time already? Dang. All right, we're going to have to cut it off short. Wait, Flavor Day. Say what you're going to say. All right.
Now, about your accounts, I have my accounts separated. And one thing you can do is just go get a simple prepaid card and have that PayPal connected to a prepaid card or a Bluebird card by American Express. Being Walmart, low fees, just go get some.
But PayPal will also hold on to your money separately if you want and send you a card that you can use, a debit card. And you can use that anywhere. I have one. And but my wife, what she's done is set it up to where it's connected to our account, so that way we can always move money anytime we want. So it all really depends on what works for you and what does not. But don't be afraid. Set the rules to how you want to play the game with your customers. Now, between you and PayPal, if there's a problem, then you're going to have to deal with under PayPal's terms. The last thing you mentioned was watermarks. I don't know, we're going off on lots of tangents, but here we go. Watermarks. I hate watermarks. Me, myself, I can't stand watermarks, and I do not put any watermarks on any of my art. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid for somebody taking my low-resolution image from a website, from Facebook, from anywhere that I'm on, and posted it, and then running it off to the printer and printing out stuff, because it's going to look like junk. It's not going to look like as a clean, a fresh piece of art that I did that I've approved. It's going to look like something that they bootleg, like a movie they done bought on the side of the street.
You only have your work up at low res.
Exactly. So then it's your job to make sure that you're only posting artwork that's at low res, that even if they reproduce it, it's not going to come out right.
What's the average pictures of your res?
Well, it's up to you. Yeah, 72 the resolution, yeah, but it comes down to the dimensions of it. So resolution can be low, but if the dimensions are high, it's in the thousands, then it can still be printed out looking good. So it's your job I think the highest that I go is 900 pixels across, by 600 up and down. If I try to do a square, I may do 1200. But I'm not afraid. I've gone through that. I've lived through that in my life. I've seen other artists claim my work and sell it. I've seen other artists just post it online and claim it as theirs. And so it's just part of the business. We're in the visual business. The internet is visual. The day will come when people can afford a wall to be all TVs. And your art will flash through their cycle, and every day it'll be a different piece of art on their wall, and they won't have to pay you anything because they'll find it online. And that's okay. That's the business that you're in. Your goal is going to be to find new clients, find new customers to buy your artwork from you or from one of your websites that you set up. That's really where your focus should be. Don't be afraid. The music industry lost out that way. There's a lot of pirating going on, the movie industry, and they can't stop it, and it will not be controlled. There's no way out of it. The day that wearable TVs, I have a different image here on my shirt. That's just how it is. What can you do? All right, where time is short, I'm sorry. I don't know if we jumped through much of anything. I think the important thing here is to just get your artwork out. The first thing of any step and any kind of online presence that you should have is Facebook. because Facebook has at least 1/5 of the world locked in on it. All right? And you should always have a business profile, a business page on Facebook where you feature nothing but your art or the specific thing that you're dealing with. And let me tell you, I've sold art through Facebook. Now, Facebook did not run the transaction, not that type of selling. It was selling where I posted some stuff, people liked it, they commented, they told me about it. We started emailing each other, and next thing you know, they sent me money, and I sold.
But you can also import Big Cartel, Etsy. I don't know about Society 6 Retro.
What's the first one you said?
Etsy, Big Cartel.
Big Cartel?
You can just create a tab on your Facebook page.
Uh-huh.
You can have a shopping cart right there on your Facebook page. So people can buy direct.
Yes, look into that. That's good.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
You go to like, there's a whole set of plugins for interaction with sales cards on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For anybody that's interested, I post this kind of information all day, every day, through my ArtStar Facebook page. And it's all free information. So
check it out. Get one of his cards, ArtStar. Like I said, the Black Book Conversations on the schedule page. It has a lot of events listed. Check it out. Come on through. And if you want to talk some more, let me know. We're always open to discussing stuff with artists. If you want to trade a sticker, come on through. Uh-oh, you're about to take one. Anybody want to trade some stickers? Come on. Oh, yeah? Sorry. Take one. No, I want this one. All right, nobody's going to trade me? Thank you very much for coming through. The next one is in September. And we'll discuss.